What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Welcome to my first video post in a very long time. I'm not going to get into the details of why I've been absent for so long. I'll just kind of summarize it up as I had some health stuff going on, which made me focus my bandwidth in some very specific things. But what I want you guys to know now is you can expect at minimum, a good solid video from me every single week. In fact, you can kind of see on my head here these freaking red spots. That would be in correlation with those said health things. But that's okay. That's life. You know, we get molded towards the things that we need, that we are, destined to be molded to do. And for me, over the last 2.5 years, I've been really fortunate, to still have an amazing team over at REISIF. My real estate company was still doing awesome. Everything is fantastic. And today, I'm going to give you this unedited video in regards to 2023's marketing and what I've seen from real estate companies and what I want you to start focusing on moving into 2024. And this is going to be really short. Again, it's going to be unedited. And I'm probably going to be doing that for a little bit. Like, I'm not going to edit the videos very heavily. I'm just going to sit here and have a conversation with you, almost kind of not really vloggy, but more a little bit nonchalantly, because I just kind of want to get ideas off of my head that I find are important to talk about, and I don't want there to be any red tape. So that's what I'm going to do. I do have some videos that are going to be edited, to be a little bit more structured, that are content driven or topic driven. Okay, so moving into 2024, some of the mistakes that I seen in 2023 in regards to people and why they failed, and why they decided to go back to their W-2 instead of continuing in real estate. That's a whole nother video actually on why they would even make that decision to begin with, to quit entirely. But the very first problem was emotional decisions, right? People inside their businesses tend to make emotional decisions based off of problems in today rather than understanding patterns over time. And we rely in our businesses, key performance indicators, KPIs, in order to actually make decisions. That way we don't make emotional ones. And most individuals, sadly, who are just getting started in business, they don't actually have a know-how of how to build these KPIs and how to build these like decision trees out. So what ends up happening is they start marketing and they're spending money, and most of the time, because they don't fully know how to market, they start spending all of the capacity that they have every single month. They say in their head, well, I have $500 a month to spend. How am I going to spend it? Rather than saying, hey, I got $500 a month. How do I get the most output with the least amount of that as possible? And this industry in the real estate space does not cater to educating that person on what they can be doing. And a lot of times that person doesn't get into the funnel of the places that are doing that, because those things require efforts that they're not searching for, right? So for example, most aren't searching for, how do I only dial 5 people, a week? They're searching, how do I cold call and get a deal, for example. And it's just all the content that's around that is not content that's going to teach somebody how to do that for $500 a month, right? And if it is, it's like, go door knock, and that's like there's a lot of excuses that can be made around that. And so what ends up happening is they get stuck in this funnel, and by the time they get out of it, it's too late. It's too late for them, because they've exhausted all the money that they've had, and they've made decisions based off of, emotion. And that last decision they make based off of emotion is the fact that this business isn't for me. I need to do something else because I can't make it in this business. And so, number one problem on what I seen in 2023 was emotional decisions. And number two, being the sister of that, which I've already talked about, is the fact that people weren't tracking the proper KPIs to be proactive instead of reactive, which caused them, once they got to a problem where maybe they tried to look at their KPIs in order to not make emotional decision, and they looked at KPIs and they followed the KPIs, but at a surface level up here, if a KPI changes, that means that something happened to cause the change. So there's another KPI somewhere that had to have went up or went down to cause another KPI to go up or down. And sadly, again, this is something that's not educated out in the space, is how to properly, document those lower level KPIs, and then how to evaluate them and create those decision trees. And so therefore, someone said, hey, I don't want to make emotional decisions. I just want to look at my KPIs. My leads are down, and so therefore I need to figure out what's wrong. So I look at how many dials I made, and I didn't make very many dials, and so therefore I must have to make more dials. And so I go and I buy more data, I skip trace more, and I make more dials, but yet my lead gen didn't change. I didn't close any deals. And then they get stuck in that. And you may be one of those people. But like, if they were tracking the proper KPIs to be able to make the right decisions, they would have seen like, oh, okay, my dials were down, my leads were down, but they were still parallel, right? Like I still reached the same amount of the right correct numbers, for example. I still reached the same amount of correct numbers. My correct number percentage was still the same. So that was all fine. But maybe I need to review some of those correct number calls. Maybe some of those were not interesteds, right? I mean, if you have a correct number and you get a correct number to a homeowner and they don't convert to a lead, that means that they were not interested, right? And so basically, if I'm going to make a decision on what I need to do in my business, I first need to understand, did I do the other 50%, right? If I get correct numbers in my business and I don't get conversions, well, do I have a process to follow up with my not interesteds? Because if I don't, there could have been a deal in there. And over the last 90 days, if I would have actually followed up with those not interesteds, those correct numbers again, I would have popped out that deal that was there. You see, there's a lot of phantom revenue that sits inside of real estate entrepreneurs marketing if they're outbound marketing, direct to homeowners. And one of those is not interested, because not interested is really just a cold lead, and cold leads are not interested, really. And so for every 1,300 dials, there's $32,240 on average of revenue sitting there. Now that means that there's people that out of that, there's going to be someone who's going to list their house. There's going to be someone who sells to an investor. There's going to be somebody who, loses their home to an auction. Somebody's going to purchase the home, and somebody's going to make money from it. That's what that means. All right. And so obviously nobody's making $32,000 for every 1,300 dials. Unless, right, they're doing something like niche sequential. It's possible. So anyway, I don't want to get into too much of a tangent on it, but that's the general understanding, and you don't have to understand everything now. I just wanted you to regurgitate the fact that that's a problem. I want you to understand that's a problem, and just subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already, and watch or hit the notification bell so you get notified if you are subscribed, and watch. I'm going to be releasing content to help people through this so that you don't deal with this in 2024. I don't want you to deal with the fact that you don't understand these generalized concepts that should be taught and they're not. And I've focused on teaching it in the REI SIF Mastermind community and for my software product users and stuff. But I'm coming back full force 2024. Tyler's here for the Willing Relentless community, and we're really pushing to really get this out there and get people in the know. Okay, so. Anyway, the third thing is going to be marketing strategies based off of also emotion. And what I mean by that is you're choosing a marketing strategy that's based upon you rather than based upon the avatar that you're marketing to. And so a lot of people in 2023, especially early 2023, were doing a lot of SMS, and that's totally okay. But, a lot of the properties that sold throughout 2023, a ton of them were age of ownership. There are people who own multiple properties, they owned them for a long time, and they were liquidating those properties in 2023. And so a lot of those people, they're not SMSers. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of people were able to get deals from SMS, but you're only SMSing and reaching a very, very small subset of that avatar who actually does SMS, and you're using it as your only strategy, and so you're consuming all of your budget in that strategy because you're trying to reach a large amount of people instead of lowering the amount of people that you're marketing to and then using multiple strategies. And you're going to get a higher conversion rate. You're going to have a more stable business that way. And that is what you should be doing. And so that's the other one, is make sure that you're instead of making emotional decisions on the type of marketing, just understand that you're tailoring to 3 different personality types. Personality type 1 is going to be the person who is willing to speak with someone about their problems, meaning I'm gonna walk into the therapist, or I'm gonna walk into talk to my wife about a problem, or I'm gonna walk into a church and talk to a pastor about a problem. I'm accepting, and I'm coming to seek and find you. Okay. The second one is going to be the person who will not go out to seek out somebody. And by the way, that person that would seek out somebody is the person who would Google and and become an SEO lead. Okay. So number 2 is going to be that person who I won't go out there and find it, but if somebody started the conversation with me, right? If they called me and I picked up and they talked to me about it, I would be willing to open up about the situation, right? I would be willing to discuss it. And in fact, deep down, I would be really excited about the fact that finally I was able to speak to somebody about this problem, and they could listen. And then there's the third personality type, and it's the person who they're not going to pick up the phone, but they want to know that that the option is there. And on their own time, they will respond back. So this is where SMS and direct mail come in, where I receive a text message or I receive a postcard, and I see that someone is interested, and I might not be ready right now, but I'm going to respond back at my own leisure, or I'm going to go to your website and surf it because you gave me this, postcard. And some people in that outbound strategy, and Facebook, would be another, Facebook marketing would be another, and PPC would be another one of these. Oh, PPC actually wouldn't be one of those. PPC would be the SEO kind of, because they'd have to search the information, right? Facebook, you're getting in front of them. Direct mail, you're getting in front of them, and SMS, you're getting in front of them without them having to search for anything. So anyway, that would be one of the reasons why you need to do all strategies, or this is a reason why you got to do all strategies, because you got to tailor to those 3 personality types. And if you can't do that, then the problem is that you're targeting too many people. You think of it from like a puddle, pond, lakes, oceans kind of scenario, right? You got to get good in the small audience. If you can get deals from that consistently, or just in general, honestly, right? Then you can start reinvesting back that revenue to expand out your marketing. And as you expand out that marketing, depending on how you do it, your net, ROI is going to be a little bit less, but you're going to capture more of the marketplace, which means you're going to make more money overall, right? And you're going to be able to hire team members, which allow you to step away from the business, and then you're working less, you're making more per hour for not doing anything. And that's really where you want to get to, right? And so make sure you tailor to those 3 personality types, and don't make the business. Now, which one you start with, by the way, which one you do first and then move into, is obviously you can use like, hey, I prefer this strategy because I work a W-2, and so I want to do this, that, and the other, and that's totally fine. Like, you can bring in records, that are, say, evictions, and you can send mail to them, so because you work, and you can leave a voicemail, on when they call inbound, and you can say, hey, I work a full-time job, I'll call you back when I get done. And then when you get done, you call back any return mail, or you call back any inbound phone calls from mail, and then you start calling those records as well. So make sure you're not, just making up excuses why you can't do it. That's another big part of it. But Anyway, those are my big three things, right? Number one being that you're making emotional decisions in general in regards to the overarching decisions you're making in your business that affect spending money. Number two, you're not tracking the proper KPIs to find the problem within the problem. And so therefore that's causing those emotional decisions to be compounded on the wrong decision, which then makes the problem, obviously will compound. And number three is that you're only marketing to the avatar that you personally are wanting. So it's a you thing, not a how can I serve these people thing, and how can I get in front of the right person. So you don't fully understand your avatar, and you're making a decision to market to everybody rather than just a subset of people with multiple strategies to hit more people in a more effective way. Okay, so ultimately all this boils down to is I don't fully understand my marketing. And so anyway, I just wanted to start, off with this video because I think it's the most important topics to discuss. Every one of these I'm going to be discussing in, more structured, more narrow, more focused, on each point throughout the year. So don't forget, subscribe, hit that like button, and do the notification bell, and be ready for more content on this channel as the year progresses. Like I said, at least once a week, we're going to get one out there, and there's going to be one-off ones like this periodically. As I have ideas on my mind, I'm just going to do the video, and I'm going to get it posted, right? And that's how I'm approaching content here in 2024. So if you have any questions, comment below. And I will get to them if you've even made it this far. If you have, fantastic. Thank you. I appreciate it because this is just a random off the top video. And so I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. And don't forget, stay willing and be relentless. We'll see you guys in the next one.